Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Miss Sophia the Diva, coming here to give you another review and commentary, on what I think about an episode of Queen Sugar. As I said in my previous video, I do apologize for being behind. Life happens, and so I am back on track trying to get these reviews done. And it's going to get easier now because a couple of the shows that I normally review have done season finales, so now I can just focus on trying to do this. I also know I owe y'all some Queen of the South reviews. Not sure I'm going to continue to do that because here on my channel, it really hasn't been a lot of pickup as far as watching my thoughts, but I may continue to do it. Queen of the South, USA, that crew, that team, they're very supportive of me a lot of times as far as, being on Twitter and sending me gifts every season or inviting me to things. So I appreciate that. But we're here to talk about Queen Sugar. We are in season 4, episode 7 of Several Centuries. And this one is appropriately titled because we find out that there are more people in Nova's family tree, her basically her maternal side of the family. I can't even say it. I don't know what's wrong with my speech today, but okay. So when we open up this episode, well, first of all, we know from the preview that she's going to run into Calvin this episode, okay? So I was like, them white ladies at that little lunch and talked up Calvin, honey. But needless to say, let's see what train wreck Nova has caused the Bordelon family today, okay? When we open up this episode, she is in Philadelphia getting ready to go on to do a news interview about her book. And one of the producer comes and presents her with the fact that we found somebody else, and Nova gets this look on her face like, no, no, no. Apparently, someone on her father's side they found in her genealogy, and she does not want to bring them up for whatever reason. I don't know, but she looked shook when they showed her that piece of paper. During the interview, it does come up that there is someone on her mom's side of the family that perhaps she may be interested in meeting up with. I think this is Martha. Anyway, someone named Martha, Aunt Martha, which is actually a cousin. It's her mother's cousin, as it turns out, and at one point they were close as sisters. Well, that kind of had me giving the side eye because I'm like, they were close as sisters, so what happened? Was Martha with Ernest at first and got pregnant, and then her mom took the baby? I mean, is Nova really her mama's daughter? Child. That's what I was thinking, and I know I've noticed some other people on Twitter were thinking that too. Charlie meets up with the preacher from the church, as she's trying to campaign and get votes, and he basically told her, we need to be trying to bridge the community all the time, not just when it needs to be done. It should always be us trying to bridge the, what I think I must have done. Anyway, y'all, I'm sorry if these reviews got mixed up. I realized something now. I'm sitting there reading my little notes. I'm like, I put at this episode in last episode's review, so forgive me. It's not going to be easy because, she's coming up with opposition from the Latino minister. She's coming up with opposition from the black woman in city council. Ralph Angel is having problems, and let's talk about that storyline. Let me tell you something. I love us black women and how we will dive in and stand by our man. Hopefully, girl, he won't throw you away like yesterday's trash, But no, Ralph Angel really don't do that. But I still can't get over that. Remember that one episode? What was her name? Miss Hot to Trot. She was trying to get with Hollywood when Vi and her were working up at what used to be the High Yellow. And needless to say, Ralph Angel, he has a re-entry program for people similarly situated as he was when he was in prison and got out. And, there's not a lot of opportunities for former felons. That's why the rate of recidivism is so high because so many people close their doors. My thing is, as long as they ain't murdered and chopped up nobody, and if they do be stealing shit, don't give them a job where they have access to a computer. Put them in a warehouse or something. Although these days, these warehouses are very high tech. But needless to say, they find meth on the farm. And not only do they find meth, his homeboy that he's always been cool with gets arrested for it. They allegedly found this crystal meth in his car. First of all, let me tell y'all this. First of all, most black people ain't gonna be slanging no damn crystal meth. It's crack, okay? Crack is what we be slanging. Not me, because I've never been in the dope game, never wanted to be part of that life. Although Queen of the South and Power and Breaking Bad and all of them sometimes make you wonder, maybe I should push a brick just to get ahead in this country. That's how some of the people got ahead anyway, doing illegal activities or activities that were legal but never had any business being legal, slavery. But dirty cops. And all of this, we all can conclude from this episode is deduced from the fear and loathing of the fact that Charlie will be successful in blocking this highway. That's why they're terrorizing her family. That's why all of these catastrophic things that happen in this episode end up happening. Because they shook it. They afraid of Charlie. And you should be, honey, because she is one tough cookie. You hear me? It took all Ralph Angel could to, restrain himself. So his girlfriend comes over. She's a public defender. Thank God for her. She says, no matter what, we're going to fight. Because when Ralph Angel was talking to the cop basically was like, have you checked your cameras every day? He was like, I got cameras all over this property. And he was like, well, have you checked your cameras every day, every hour? You might want to check that. So they've tampered with the cameras. They knew exactly what they were doing, and it's a setup. And so his girlfriend basically is like, we're going to do everything we can to prove that your friend didn't do this. They did manage to get him out of lockup. And, I love how she steps in and this is my man. I'm going to help him with his fight. That's what we black women do, honey. And then sometimes some of us end up supporting a man that wants to shit on us for whatever reason because they got demons. But that's neither here nor there. Another catastrophe that takes place in this episode is the destruction of property inside of Aunt Vi's diner. It is vandalized by an unseen person in a hood. As if Aunt Vi needs no more problems. People do we need to call Hollywood? She was like, no, he went to go see his mama. He had to take care of his mama. I don't want to involve her. Well, Charlie is always very resourceful. And Charlie does her due diligence. She finds out from one of her investigators using other surrounding cameras that consultant had been running around taking pictures of Aunt Vi's diner. And then they see the culprit come in and they get a face and they show that it's Ignacio's son. So they try to get down to the bottom of it. Charlie meets up with the family. The mama only speaks Spanish. Charlie is fluent in Spanish, which seems to kind of impress the good reverend who, still is giving her the side eye I don't know if we should really trust you, but okay. So she basically asked him, why did he do it? He said, a guy said, he would deport my mom, would see to it that my mom got deported if I didn't do this. So it was kind of a catch-22. He never meant anything to harm Aunt Vi's diner. But at the same time, he did it because he was afraid. The family has already lost Ignacio and a brother, I think. So he didn't want to lose his mom, too. But that's just awful. White people call it the colonizers. Not all white people. We're going to call these people the colonizers. They just do things to destroy us. And in general, that's why black people can't seem to get ahead in this country. Because for some reason, and then Latinos, they be trying to get ahead too. But then y'all always talking about they stealing your jobs. You wouldn't do half the jobs that Latinos do in this country. Because one of the powerful things that the Reverend said is that because Charlie was like, black people built this country, and the Latino pastor is like, and the Latinos maintain it. Okay, that's kind of how our world is. If you really think about it, there's a lot of truth to that. But I did like how the community came together and helped Aunt Vi put her diner back together again. Everyone came together. When Aunt Vi met up with the person, he was like, I was doing it to save my mama. And she was like, stop talking right there. I love Aunt Vi. She is a true auntie. I tell y'all, every time I see Aunt Vi, she reminds me of my Aunt Peggy so much. It's ridiculous. But, because my Aunt Peggy was a little spitfire too. Because, she was like, we just going to do this old school. So he's going to work off the damage that he's done. But when she comes in, that's when we see the whole community has come together to help rebuild Aunt Vi's diner. We also learned that Ralph Angel's program is in jeopardy. They're going to review it, and they might have to pull the grant funding thanks to these alleged criminal activities that took place on his farm, which we know that's not what happened. Poor Darla also is getting it too. Thanks, Nova, for fucking up Darla's job. They down there kiki-keying. They done opened up a book in her job at her desk and then turned it over. But Darla, it took every ounce of restraint. But she was like, who did this? And, they all just kind of, the co-workers just kind of skittish. I'm like, who does that? Like, imagine how it feels to overcome so much only to possibly be set back, because those are the type of things that will make somebody go back to drinking and doing drugs and that type of thing. And she's been clean for so long, and she's been fighting for a quality of life. And thanks to Nova in this damn book. Remember, Nova was like, I changed your name, though. Won't nobody know? Oh, people have a weird way of figuring out stuff. I mean, how many people have a child with a man that used to be in prison? Like, I mean, it happens all the time, but we can put two and two together because it's about your family. Ralph Angel been to prison. They got a son. There we go. Okay. Girl, thanks. And that type of stuff, that bullying, that's how people go postal on their jobs. I ain't saying it's right, but I mean, let's just be real. People do that shit, and people will push you there, either individual coworkers or managers. We need to learn self-restraint, and we need to learn how to respect people and try to understand it. I don't understand why people haven't figured out tolerance and love will take us further in this world than being mean and hateful. I just don't get it. But, and that consultant's name is Hank Miller. Also, Nova this episode runs into Calvin, and Calvin lets it be known that Nova is the love of his life, honey. I said, damn, Nova must have some real good cookie, because, baby, these folk be on Nova, honey. All these old loves coming back, keep coming back. I'm like, God damn, you think it's over? He was married at the time that he got with Nova, and that is what is unfortunate, too, is when people marry folk that they know they have no business with, or they find somebody that they probably should have waited on, because fools rush in. But either way, I ain't saying this right, but I understand some of us fall in love and get with the wrong person, and you give your love to the wrong person. I wonder what old lover she gonna find on her next stop, though. I keep thinking about that. So when she's having these conversations with Calvin, it comes to her that she may have lost her family. And with that revelation for Nova, I wonder, does she realize that maybe it wasn't worth my family to write this book, to become an award-winning writer? And Calvin still love her too, because she told all his goddamn business too. Calvin is no longer a police officer. He has his own private security firm. I was like, go ahead, Calvin. His sexy self. That's a good-looking white boy right there. He takes her out to go play pool. I love playing pool. That's so much fun, even though I'm not that great at it these days. I used to be back in the day when I was a kid and teenager, but I'm rusty as hell. Calvin and her have a moment, and she tells him, this is the best day of my life in a long time. And it was like, whose fault is that, Nova's? Whose fault is that? That would be yours, because you've been out here telling all your family secrets and shaking the tree and shit and digging up old shit that nobody wanted to think about anymore. I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. He bids her good night when he drops her off at the hotel. I just knew they were going to go ahead and get it on like they used to back in the day. But some kind of way he does make it back to that room. And he was like, I want Nova. He basically told her he wants her back. He said he was broken. And I was like, here they go again. I hope it work out, because maybe if Nova has somebody who loves her and she's capable of giving that same love to them, maybe she'll stay out of her family's business, okay? Plus, she'll need something to occupy her time since her family doesn't want to talk to her. Now, let's get to the pivotal moment in this episode, because that's pretty much. It turns out Charlie seductively seduces the truth out of that damn Jacob Boudreaux, honey. He always got a weak spot for Sister Charlie, honey. So she plies him with a glass of wine. And he was looking at it like, I ain't gonna drink that. She was like, it's not a poison chalice. Just have a sip of wine. And she was like, we gonna talk. So they found out that the dude that works for the Landrys, or so he appears to work for the Landrys, is actually from some old energy spot. And I remember it came up in conversation with with the minister, where it was like, well, basically the reason why old world energy is here, because that's who paid the boy to tear up Vi's diner. And he was scoping it out, probably because it's probably where they found some oil resources or some gas resources. They want to frack. Y'all don't know what fracking is. That's where they take a drill down into almost one of the major layers of the earth, I believe it is. I took up oil and gas for a time. They drill down and they put water in it to bring up this gas, this natural gas that's been created over millions and billions of years, that's been trapped in the Earth's core. And the problem is, when you hear about earthquakes in certain places, like let's say Oklahoma or Washington, D.C., 9 times out of 10, the places where you don't hear about earthquakes is usually because fracking may be going on somewhere near that area, and the platelets are being shifted, not naturally, but unnaturally, due to fracking and the pressure that builds up when they shoot that water down there to bring that gas up. That's fracking, basically, if I remember correctly. At one point, I was in a master's program for oil and gas. So basically, they want to build a highway so that they can bring in the trucks and things to do the fracking. So a highway plus gas equals a ghost town, because once they use up all the natural resources in these towns, they move on. It's like locusts, basically. So that mystery is solved. And so they basically kind of broker a deal, because Jacob's like, well, I'm running against you for city council. She was like, people make deals all the time. And you know Jacob's going to go for it. So basically, no matter what happens, if she wins or if he wins, Charlie still wins. Doesn't matter. While showing photos from the march that they had against the injustices and pushing back on the Landrys and Boudreaux with Micah, Charlie gets an urgent call. Y'all, they done burned down goddamn Queen Sugar. They done burned down the damn mill. I sure hope that Charlie got good insurance on it, because she's going to have to rebuild, but that's going to delay the black farmers from being able to process their crops, right? And that's the whole point of it. But with all of this destruction and vandalism coming in, at this point, these are hate crimes, number one, because it's only being done, one family is being targeted, a black family. And number two, they need to call the feds. Just call the feds, bring them in, and get this shit investigated, because this is ridiculous. They do not deserve this. You know, can they live? Can they be prosperous too? There's enough money for everybody to go around, and Lord knows the Landrys and Boudreaux have enough money. But that's all I've got for this episode of Several Centuries. Comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this episode. Let me know if I missed anything that you wanted me to bring up and talk about more in depth. Other than that, please be sure to support my GoFundMe to save my radio show, A Diva Disturbed. I'm in desperate need of a sponsor. It's cost $200 a month to keep it, but I also am trying to expand it into a podcast, as well as get some additional equipment, my producer and I, and also to market a little bit better and to get more listeners. Online, streaming wise, great hearing, but on my social media, not, a few friends, a few family, but either way, if you can drop $2 in my little GoFundMe, that would be awesome. Or otherwise, you can always cash at me $2 or $3 here and there. For A Diva Disturbed on BFAM 109.6. We stream every Tuesday night from 9:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Time. So other than that, that's all I've got. I've been Miss Sophie the Diva. Thank you all for joining and listening. Thank you all who have subscribed recently and are supporting my channel. I really appreciate it. We are sitting at 391 as of this recording. Y'all know I'm not good with math. I am math illiterate. But I think that comes to like 639 more to go to get to 1,000. Of course, I would love to see my channel be at setting at 4,000, 50,000, 100,000. That would be dope. But either way, plus I also have a t-shirt design in the works, and I need to also get that out and done for A Diva Disturbed. Working on that as well. But either way, chin up, buttercups. The sun will come out. Stay fabulous.